Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it! And will this be enough?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. You heard the bell, you heard Taz, you heard JR, which means it's another time for me and my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner, to tell you what is, will be, and could happen in the world of wrestling. Justin, how we doing?
Doing good, my friend. We got lots of good and bad this week.
Yeah.
Talk about.
Yep. Well, let's start off with the is it? And that's that the report came out today. It was kind of, we thought it was going to be a slow news week, but no. For some reason, when it's our time, when it's our show time, it feels like two big news stories drop on the day, which happened. But the first one we'll start out with, the big headline is that Smackdown moving to USA Network are in talks of doing a 3-hour show. Now, we just talked about Raw going to 2 hours, but with them moving to Netflix and Smackdown, so then they lose that 3-hour block. That's probably a lot of advertising that USA. So this mainly, I think it's probably a USA thing and not a WWE thing, is my guess, just because of how much ad revenue that they bring in. So I'm kind of indifferent on it. I mean, SmackDown has been okay at 2 hours, whereas Raw, the way they're doing it. But if anyone can stretch out 3 hours and how they can move it around, but is Triple H ready to do 6 hours a week in booking?
I don't.
That's tough. I don't wish that upon anyone.
I don't see this. It's not like they're. It's thankfully it's just like it's not like it's a done deal, but more like they're considering it, and hopefully not. Raw's been enough of a slog for 3 hours. That's why everyone was excited that it's going back to 2 hours after Bad Blood in October. This is when people worry that they might stretch SmackDown to 3 hours to make up for Raw being gone. It's like it seems like they barely have enough to fill out the 2 hours they got right now. So not a fan of this idea.
I mean, again with it, we'll get into the Raw, but I mean, like, how many backstage segments can you have with Judgment Day, the Terror Twins, and Jey Uso?
Right.
I mean, that's we had. I don't know. There was multiple.
Yeah.
With that, it wasn't like they didn't carry on the story, and I was intrigued by it, but it was just kind of like you didn't need that many. But that's what happens when you have to fulfill 3 hours.
Yes.
So that's a first world problem when it comes to Raw. And we'll get into it because I thought this Raw was really, really good. But I just don't see, and I mean, if you've ever got, for anyone out there, you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can state it as fact, but at least it's an intriguing video of Kevin Nash breaking down why Thunder didn't work when he was the main booker. And he, remember that? I don't know if you ever remember seeing that video. I mean, that thing's like 10 years old. But he basically had on a whiteboard, and he was like, all right, and then I wish I could do a Kevin Nash impression. I got to work on it. But basically he was like, so you do this, and then you got to do Thunder. And if this guy's hurt, then you got to switch this around, and it plays on to this storyline. And it's just like, you're doing that. It's hard enough to do 5, much less 6. Thankfully, I mean, he doesn't really have much to do with, I mean, he's oversees everything. He's oversees creative, but Sean and Albert are pretty much, or A-Train or whatever, not Albert, but A-Train and William Regal are pretty much running NXT, and Triple H really is just making sure, for call-ups and the overall thing.
Right.
So, I mean, if someone can do it, it's Triple H, the way the way the company is now. But that's just, you're going to see a lot more filler type episodes if he has to book 6 hours. So
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I'm indifferent on it because he's been able to make 3 hours of Raw work.
Yes, and it'll be better once it goes back to them too. So we'll have less filler.
Yeah.
So,
but hey, if you at least get the women time like they did this past week on Raw, I'm okay with it because that was a banger. But moving on to our next topic here. Rikishi doing the thing, and
Oh,
I
by the
don't know
way,
what to do.
shout out to Bobby in the chat.
Oh yeah, hey Bobby, thanks for joining us. Yeah, he can enjoy wrestling this week because the Dolphins don't play on Thursday. So.
Mhm.
But yeah, Rikishi came out and had like a very weird tweet about pray for my son and Jimmy Uso, and I immediately got super worried because I'm like, not Bray again, just because those are the kind of tweets that you got where like Bray was sick, and then Sean Ross Sapp said he talked to everyone who's talked to Jimmy, and Jimmy said he's fine, but they kind of said the same thing about Bray, and they're like, oh, Bray's fine, blah, blah, and the next thing you know, we get report he passed away. And I just don't want to go through that again.
Right. Hopefully, it's not anything serious. Because, like, when you see a tweet like that, that's when you're like, uh-oh. It's like, because they did write him out due to injury.
Right.
When this whole Bloodline 2.0 kick started, when he turned on Jimmy and, like, just wrecked him to write him off TV. So everyone's and people wondering, like, well, where's Jimmy now that Roman's back? Because they're thinking, he'd be back to help build toward, War Games. But I don't know if there's a setback or something. I don't know. It's like, hopefully it's nothing serious. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Pictured backstage at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, and for the scuttlebutt,
or maybe it's just that he's just like that. He's healing, and that Rikishi just wants them to stay healthy. It's like that.
There's a lot of speculation. Like, is it a substance thing? Is it X, Y, and Z? All we know is Rikishi said it. Now, granted, a lot of times Rikishi spouts at the mouth a lot, as we know. And about them underutilizing Jay. I'm like,
very opinionated about what's happening with his sons, especially Jay.
Hey, and it's like, the son of your sons can do no wrong, and I get that. So of course he's going to do that. But yeah, his comment about Jay, like they're not booking Jay right. I'm like, what do you mean? He's everywhere on Raw. You think they're going to just bury their merch eating cash cow? No, if you sell money and make them money, they're going to put you forefront. He just has to have a moveset more than a super kick and a spear and a splash.
Right.
As far as a wrestling is, but he's got everything else. I mean, with Jay, but yeah, I hope Jimmy is fine. Maybe he like injured, maybe he re-injured something or something like that. But you just don't like to see those cryptic tweets. Like if Bray didn't happen, we'd be like, oh yeah, Rikishi's just being Rikishi. But when Bray's on the back of my mind and how that all kind of went down, it scared me a little with that. But hopefully everything's good, and we get Jimmy back to do War Games and Bloodline and all that fun stuff. So Jimmy, hope you're doing well, man.
We hope you're okay, Jimmy.
Yeah, hope you're okay. Last little thing I want to touch on before we get to our breakdowns. They finally came out. Multiple reports are that the Lucha Brothers, which is it's not really a secret, but I think they officially put ink to paper and have signed with WWE, and they're going to the main roster, whereas the Motor City Machine Guns are going to NXT. Now, we kind of talked about the Motor City Machine Guns last week, saying it was kind of weird because they're both 40 and 41. But as we've alluded to, NXT needs firepower because they're going to the CW. So they're going to a big network. Whereas, yes, it is still a more of a school and more of I can't think of it, a developmental brand, but they're going live now. They're going more. They're testing out to go to other arenas. And obviously there was that scuttlebutt about them moving to Vegas that was squashed. But what do you think about that? And where does Lucha Brothers land?
That's a good question. So this broke out from a couple different people. It looks like originally came from Russell Votes, who it's like he's like 99% accurate, that Russell Votes on Twitter. So it's like he's scooped a lot of stuff this year, and he hasn't been wrong yet. So So this has been talked about for quite a while. There was a lot of rumors and scuttlebutt that they were thinking of their contracts were coming up, and they were thinking of jumping ship to WWE, and we all felt that it was very likely that they would jump ship because of just it seemed like they've done everything they can in AEW, and the way AEW is, maybe they felt like it's time for a change of scenery, and but it's like, why not go to WWE? It's like especially if they're interested, and so good for them. I know there's probably going to be lots of like, more machine guns are going to NXT. Why the Lucha Bros? It's like, maybe that was part of the deal. It's like, maybe the more machine guns had no problem going to NXT, and maybe Lucha Bros felt they didn't need to go NXT. So, it's like, as long as they can swim in the WWRs, I mean, it's like, it's all good. It's just trolls, man.
Yeah. And as we know, it just because you're on a certain brand doesn't mean you can't go to NXT. It doesn't mean NXT people can't go to a Raw or a SmackDown.
Right.
We've seen before. So.
Yeah, I mean, like main roster people showing up at NXT it's like nothing new. It is pretty regular at this point. So, especially with the move to the CW, they're really loading up the big name talent to help boost the ratings. But as far as where they'll end up, that's a really good question. Because it's like, which show could use the tag team boost the most right now?
Yes. In a sense.
It feels like there's more legit teams on SmackDown right now, so I'd lean toward Raw, because right now it's like the Judgment Day is they finally defended the tag titles for the first time in like forever against New Day this week. After that, the only other regular tag teams on Raw that we saw was like Mistruth, and it's like Truth is outselling the Bronson Reed Tsunami-thon. So Miz is on his own right now. It is like, I don't see any other major tag teams on Raw.
Well, I mean, if you think about it and really break it down, so you have the Judgment Day, you have the Creed brothers.
The Creed brothers, yes.
You have the New Day as of right now.
As of now.
You have technically of the Wyatt Six.
Yes, there's the Wyatt Six, yeah.
Yeah, so
but like over on SmackDown, you've got the Bloodline, you've got DIY, you've got the Street Profits, you got Pretty Deadly, and A-Town Down Under.
Right.
So it's like, that's like, yeah, you got like that's so there's more regular tag teams on the SmackDown side than Raw. So I would send them to Raw.
Right. Was there anybody? And then, I mean, do you think they're gonna keep Axiom and them together, and then move them up to the main roster? I mean, the way they've been teasing it. But,
I think they've been teasing them splitting, but the fact that they keep throwing like the main roster tag teams at them, I think speaks to what they think of them as a tag team, because they had a match against Street Profits, which was sadly ruined by the Bloodline attack. So that there was no finish to that. And now A-Town Down Under is throwing down a gauntlet at them, and they're going to defend the NXT tag titles on the second CW episode on October 8th in St. Louis. So they're loading up both shows. It's like, it looked like all the big stuff was happening on the October 1st episode, but we'll talk about more. They're definitely loading up some stuff for the St. Louis show on week after that. So yeah, I think the Lucha Bros, I think Raw could use the tag team boost more than SmackDown. SmackDown's got enough tag teams on it that's fine. So yeah.
Yeah. A couple other nuggets to get to. Sheamus has officially re-signed with WWE. Ken Shamrock, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time, signed a Legends contract. So him.
There was word he signed a contract. Well, I don't know if it was word, but people figured that he must have, because his merch showed back up on WWE website a couple months ago, earlier in the year. So I guess it's official now, because he said so in his interview with Chris Van Fleet. Van Fleet's been busy, man. He's like,
that Otis interview was fun.
I need to check that out. I heard the Otis interview was really good.
Yeah,
I finished watching the Jesse Ventura one. The Jesse Ventura one was great.
Yeah, and isn't Jesse Ventura coming back to commentary? Didn't I see his?
That's just speculation. There's nothing. Okay. He said in the Chris Van Fleet interview he didn't think he could do commentary because he doesn't really watch the product regularly anymore. So, but with the Saturday Night's Main Event return,
I was getting ready to bring that up of kind of going in with the Jesse Ventura thing.
Yeah, it would be cool if he's on the first on the Saturday Night's Main Event return in December. Even maybe just for like a brief appearance, maybe, because that would kind of like be a nice homage to the OG.
Now, is this kind of with Saturday Night? They've tried it multiple times to bring it back, kind of like the old '90s WWE in your house type thing.
Yeah.
It's typically it's hard to have wrestling on Saturdays, especially during the fall with football season.
Yes.
You really fall. It doesn't matter how much you promote it. I don't care how hot WWE is. Just them moving. I mean, the ratings wise, from Fox to USA, they dropped like 1 million viewers.
Well, when they revived it was on Fox for a bit, and then they tried to revive it again on NBC. Like in the mid 2000s, but for a little bit. But then last time they did a Saturday Night's Main Event was like 2008. Mm-hmm. So it's been almost 20 years. So
I don't think this is going to be an episodic thing. I don't.
Well, no, they said that it's going to be like at least like 4 times a year apparently is what.
Okay, so like an In Your House that it was back in the 90s, because like it wasn't In Your House like every other month or something like that.
No, In Your House was when they started is what they did use to start doing the monthly pay-per-views.
Okay, because I knew it was a pay-per-view of some sort, but
no, In Your House was like every month. That's when they started doing the first In Your House was the beginning of pay-per-view every month from WWE, and then WCW had to follow suit, and we've had that model ever since. So,
gotcha. So, how do you think it's going to be structured and stuff? Like, just kind of give the people who are not familiar with Saturday Night and why we should be excited for it.
For all you wrestling fans who are not familiar with Saturday Night's Main Event, who may not be as old as dirt as people from my generation, apparently, it started in 1985 on NBC. It was part of the initial relationship between NBC and WWE. It originally aired late night at 11:30, so they wanted to help give wrestling more exposure. And instead of doing a rerun of Saturday Night Live when there wasn't any new episodes, every couple times during the year. It wasn't like a regular thing. It was like when it popped up every like couple months. They would have a Saturday Night's Main Event air in Saturday Night Live's time slot at 11:30 at night, and it took a while for me to be able to see that because that was a big deal. It was the first like big primetime exposure for wrestling in that regard. And a lot of memorable matches and moments happened on Saturday Night's Main Event, like the formation of Mega Powers happened on Saturday Night's Main Event. It's for wrestling fans from my generation who grew up watching that. There's a lot of fond memories of Saturday Night's Main Event. But by getting into the 90s, it started to wane a bit as far as like viewership. And it's like they've tried to revive it a few times here and there over the decades, but didn't really last long. So if they're just doing it like 4 year, I think that's a cool thing. Now the very interesting is what they're going to do. Is this going to be? They could use the show as an excuse to have some inter-brand interaction stuff happen, and it might. If they play it right, they should treat it like almost like a mini pay-per-view. Kind of like how NXT has their like little mini like show pay-per-views, like they not like a PLE, but like they do like Great American Bash for like 2 weeks kind of thing, where they load up big matches. because there's no pay-per-view in December. After Survivor Series, there's no pay-per-view lined up until Rumble, which is the first week of February. So we're going to go through the entire month of December and January without a regular pay-per-view. So they could use Saturday Night's Main Event to load up some big time matches, and treat it like a little mini pay-per-view. I think is the way they should go. So, and plus, they got people from both brands featured on here. So, it's like, and also it's smart that they're doing it at 8 p.m. and not because Saturday Night Live is like, they're not interrupting that these days anymore. So they're putting it right into the primetime slot at 8 p.m. on Saturday night. So, and also it's going to, sorry, AEW, but Collision's going to get crushed ratings wise.
Yeah, I mean, basically our review has basically just been on Dynamite because there's just so much going on Saturday, and I just never get around to watching it.
Yeah,
and I know there's really good stuff going on there. I just never get around to watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to bring it back because I think it's a way for them to do stuff. Plus, with them going down on, I think this has to do with them bringing this back, realizing they're you got to cash in when you're hot,
it's totally because they're so hot right now.
Right. There's no way they would bring that back. Plus of them going down on live events. So therefore they're not overworking their talent.
Yeah. And plus Saturday Night's Main Event came about in the 80s when WWE was starting to get hot. It's like from off the rock and wrestling stuff leading into WrestleMania 3, where it just exploded.
Was the gobbledygook? Was that on Saturday Night Main Event?
Gobbledygooker was Survivor Series.
Oh, that's right. That obviously just that was when it gets a little fuzzy for me. Like right at the in like the middle, 94 to, and then the Attitude Era taking over. That's when I really, really started focusing. But like from 94 to 97, it's fuzzy. And I know the gobbledygook was 91. Something around there.
That was either 89 or 90.
Yeah, it was right around the beginning of the 90s when I was just figuring out what wrestling was. So just a lot of back stuff. So on there. But thank you, Justin, for kind of giving the people who don't know Star Wipe. The more you know. Brought to you by Justin.
I'm excited as someone who loves Saturday Night's Main Event today. I think this is a great idea, especially it fills in a big show feel when there's no pay-per-view in December. So
right. And the thing that when they brought it back, in the mid 2010s,
they didn't treat it it. They need to treat it like they need to put marquee matches on here. They can't treat it like a Collision or Rampage,
a Heat or Velocity,
or Main Event. No, it's they can't.
No, you have to, because I remember when they brought it back.
They want people to tune in. They're gonna have to put up some schedule some big time matches.
Right. They really do.
And plus, there's enough time between the end of Survivor Series and Saturday Night's Main Event that with whatever feuds are cooking on right now, they could have stuff happen on the show that is important. So,
yeah. So, no, I'm definitely excited for it. But like you said, don't just give me an indie card of matches. I need draw me in. Make you have to make money. Therefore, put big time storylines that we'll
you gotta get people want to tune in.
Yeah, where's as I always quote the great Dusty Rhodes, where's the money?
Where's the money? Where's the money, Daddy?
Yeah, where's the money? Hard times, Daddy. All right, let's move on to SmackDown. And Cody being jealous. That was weird.
All right, here's a recap of last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. SmackDown's debut, back being on the USA Network. Triple H opened the show, welcoming everybody, and then led into the opening match, which was a steel cage match for the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes defending against Solo Sikoa. Good stuff. Cody was able to block the Samoan Spike and hit the crossroads for the win. After the match, the Bloodline stormed the cage to attack Cody, beat him down. Roman Reigns returned, much to Solo's disgust and surprise. He came in, made the save, and helped Cody clean house. They teased a showdown between him and Jacob Fatu, but Solo told him back down, and then the Bloodline went back to the dressing room. Nick Aldis said that everyone was sequestered in the dressing rooms to make sure there wasn't any more shenanigans. And Solo Sikoa said that he had wanted a match. Then we had Michin versus Piper Niven. Michin pulled off the upset with the Eat Defeat in a short match, but Chelsea and Piper laid Michin out afterwards, including an unprettier right into a trash can. A lot of people were shown at ringside for the debut here on USA. Rob Van Dam, Vicky Guerrero, Gunther, and Louis Kaiser were shown in the crowd. Kevin Owens took on A-Town Down Under in a tag match. He said the partner he originally wanted wasn't here, so he brought out a indie talent, but then was notified that the partner that he originally wanted was here and gave a stunner to Ricky, saying sorry. And of course, no surprise, it was Randy Orton. And Kevin Owens and Randy Orton picked up the victory. Nick Aldis announced that Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu had challenged Cody and Roman Reigns to a tag team match at Bad Blood. He had the contract, and all he needed to get was the signatures of Roman and Cody to make it official. Cody came in and told him that the bloodline is not his problem anymore. It's Roman's, and he's not going to sign the contract. Booker T, along with his wife, Sharmell, Sheamus, and Michael P.S. Haynes were in the crowd as well. Nia Jax came out to cut a promo, saying that she was going to have a match at Bad Blood, and Bayley came out and said she wanted her rematch from SummerSlam. Tiffany threatened Bayley, but Naomi came out to back her up. After just some back and forth, Nia Jax proposed a tag team match, her and Tiffany against Bayley and Naomi next week. Whichever babyface gets the winning pinfall will face Nia for the title at Bad Blood. But if one of them, the babyfaces, Bayley or Naomi, gets pinned, that person who gets pinned is going to have to leave SmackDown for good. Then we had Carmelo and Andrade tied 2-2 going into their fifth match against each other. Andrade picked up the victory on this one, which means he will get a U.S. title shot against LA Knight, who came out to cut a promo on him. Bianca Belair and Jade ran afoul of Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton in the back. Then Roman Reigns came out to talk to Nick Aldis in the main event segment. Reigns took the mic, said he hasn't changed. Doesn't need Aldis or his contract because this is about family business. He also doesn't need a partner, especially not Cody. He's still the tribal chief, only tribal chief, and this is still his show in WWE. Cody came out and say it used to be his show, but not since he defeated him at WrestleMania. Before they threw down their mics and looked like they were ready to throw down, but Bloodline came out and attacked them once again, and this led to both Roman and Cody changing their minds, and they each signed the contract to make the tag team match official for Bad Blood. So that's all that happened on last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown.
Okay, that cage match. Let me tell you how it was an excellent cage match and one of the best ones I can remember, but also how the old WWE has screwed my mind up.
Mm-hmm.
And how it took me out of it. The whole time I'm watching that, I'm like, this is good. This is good. When's the Bloodline coming out? This is good. This is good. When they coming out? When are they going to screw around? When's there going to be shenanigans? And there wasn't. There wasn't. When the pin happened, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was impressed. It was a clean win.
Clean win. And then the cage rose up, and then the Bloodline. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much more practical.
Right.
So, but that being said, that was a really solid. That's how you cage match. Like, I don't remember the last time that there wasn't like, oh, it's a cage match. Yeah, but where's the shenanigans coming? I don't remember the last time
there wasn't, because we already had enough of that shenanigans at SummerSlam with the Bloodline rules. I'm glad they did it this way. Cody wins clean like he should, and then the Bloodline tried to gang attack him afterwards, and then have Roman make the save to the big pop.
Right.
I'm a little iffy about how it ended, but I do like how Cody was like, I'm done with this bloodline bullshit. It's like, I'm not interested. I don't want to tag with Roman. Nah. And Roman feels the same way, which makes sense. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like there's issues there between them. Like, especially where he's like, it's like, you know, acting like he's still in charge. And then Cody's like, you're not top dog anymore, dude. It's like, I'm the champion now. I beat you. It's like, this is not your show or WWE anymore.
And it came across as kind of a heelish promo.
Yeah.
And
he said he's not. It's like the fans may want to cheer him, and yes, he's de facto face. But I like that he's not going to be just like, oh, like he's not.
No,
like,
we're buddy now. Like they still acknowledged what has happened, and not just fine. We both have enemies in the bloodlines. Like, wait a minute, you've been.
I wish that they had waited like another week, because one more attack makes them both change their minds. It's like,
yeah, I thought it was a little rough.
But I get it, because Bad Blood is 2 weeks away. It's like there's not a lot of time left, so I think they just didn't want to waste more time. Now it's going to be the classic, can they coexist?
Yeah.
Which is, yes, it's cliche, but appropriate when you're talking about Cody and Roman. It's like, yes, they have a mutual enemy in the bloodline, but it's like whether they can be able to function as a tag team is what we'll have to see.
No, and dude, I got so hyped with that. They in this production crew too, just the way they shot Jacob and Roman, and like both saw eye to eye, and Roman just nudged.
And that was smart, because the fans that really woke the crowd up too. Like, got the fans hyped, like they're teasing it because they know that's a money match, Roman versus Jacob,
which is like. It's just, and it's not for the lack of what. Again, I think Solo has still worked his ass off.
Yeah.
But from how they squashed him since that WrestleMania, it's hard for fans to buy into it. It just really is.
Well, the only reason he's still a top dog is he's got it. He's got the muscle. He's got He's got the Grills of Destiny and Jacob Fatu to protect him. So it's like.
He's got the MFT. He's got Bachaloa and Jacob Fatu.
Don't do that while I'm trying to drink, dude. I almost spit it out.
Just came up with it as I was talking. Bachaloa. I think that's his name until
I had to literally stop for a second because I almost spit my.
He's got the MFT. He's got Bachaloa and he's got Jacob Fatu. He's got his muscle. I don't know. I just came up with it. I'm not gonna. That's just gonna be his name until he proves otherwise. Hey, Tongaloa, if you see this, we have faith in you, but we got to call a spade when it happens. That's all I got to say.
He's been botching less.
He has. I mean, at NXT, he looks strong.
He looked great when they did the attack on the Street Profits at NXT.
Yeah. So I did feel it was a little rushed. He's like, I'm done with the bloodline. Okay, I'm back in. Like, in a matter of,
That's what I mean. It's like, but I get it because they don't have a lot of time until the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But I would have preferred it take another week before the two of them agree to team up. Like, that's what I'm saying. It felt a little, all right, that one more bloodline attack makes them both change their mind and sign the contract.
Right. I guess I'll play this video to go for the next thing that I want to do, because this was after SmackDown. So we'll play this real quick.
Okay. Oh, this. Ricky from Seattle. There's no audio. I don't know if you wanted to play the audio.
Oh, I thought I put the audio on there.
No, you didn't.
All right. Well, that's how production works, people. Sometimes you screw it up. Just give me a second here. But yeah, just tell me a little bit as I pull this back up of what you thought of with this whole.
I thought it was funny. It's like Kevin Owens knows how to do bring the funny at the right time, and I was just like, I knew it was. I was like, I'm like, well, it's gonna be Randy. Everyone knows it's gonna be Randy. But I did like the bit where it's like, it doesn't look like he's making it. But I got Ricky. Ricky. Ricky's gonna have tag with me.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Oh, he's here. Sorry, Ricky. Stunner.
Yeah, Richard or what? I don't know. He kept calling
It's
different
Ricky.
names. But okay, let me think. I
He's,
think I
he's,
fixed
he's an indie wrestler, apparently. So
Yeah. But let me see. I think I fixed it.
Man, thank you a lot for that.
The only guy
Ricky, the only
in
one
the whole building that stepped
I
up.
know. I
have
really
your back.
appreciate that. Did you have to stun me? Okay, that's on me. I got a little excited once I heard Randy was here. But I apologize for that. But still, thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for stepping up. Ricky,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Ricky from Seattle.
Ricky from Seattle.
I love it.
The only Ricky that matters.
Yeah.
You want to? Is your bus out there?
My bus is out there.
You want to go on Red? Can I invite him on it?
Well, RVD's actually on that other planet. RVD's
I'm gonna-
it's on
I'm going to ask him what he meant.
RVD's
I'm inviting you to come to the Planet Randy's place.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Planet
All right,
Randy.
cool.
That sounds like a hoot.
Yeah. Way to go, Ricky.
What did Rob?
Way to go.
they invite him to Planet RVD on the
Yeah, because I think there's more of over the beginning of it where he was like saying, well, I was asking this person, and then RVD was here, and he was apparently on another planet. I don't know what that means, but
that was he didn't say that when he was on the mic. Yeah, it's like people thought it was funny that he asked RVD to be his partner, but he's on another planet right now.
Yeah, he's on another planet right now. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I mean, Randy's having so much fun.
Well, it's like if you want like the good stuff, you go hang out with RVD. So it's like they took Ricky to have a good time hanging out with RVD.
yeah. But no, I thought that was a fun match. I mean, you knew exactly what was going to happen there. So I mean,
they tried to make it feel like it was important this first episode because they had all the big names at ringside, some alumni and some people from Raw. It was nice seeing RVD, Vicky, Booker T and his wife Sharmell. It's like it was cool seeing them there. There was another backstage bit where it's like I haven't watched it, but apparently, thanks to Vicky, there's going to be I think it's like a dumpster match between Chelsea and Michin next week, this week's episode. Thanks to Vicky, she did it. Excuse me.
Right. I'm liking that Michin's being featured. She won, but they're still like not booking her.
That was only 2 minutes. It's criminal.
Right.
You should not be. Piper Niven and Michin do not deserve a 2-minute match. I'm sorry.
No.
I had a
and
problem
then
with
the beatdown afterwards, I'm like, what momentum did you do with any three of those?
This show was all right. Like the opening match was great, and that whole everything that happened, the stuff with the Cody and Roman and the Bloodline, that was all fine. And like the KO bit with
and Carmelo and
Randy
Andrade
came out, that was fine. And Carmelo and Andrade was great, but there was also a lot of like, going on.
I did like the stip with the tag team thing with
That's
with Nia.
interesting.
I like that stip.
Now, one of the baby faces is going to win because they're going to have a title match. But I like that they throw in that as like, and plus she said it's going to cause problems because they both want the title shot, but whoever gets the pin is going to get the title shot. So it's like, so that's where like, if they can't work together properly and they lose, one of them is off of SmackDown. So,
or do you want to super book this thing and have both of them somehow get the pin? They can't figure out who actually was the one that made the pin, and then they do a triple threat.
They could find a way to do it.
That way, it's not a one-on-one. I'm just saying, like, just super book the crap and
They
just
might
do a triple threat. That way, Naomi gets in a title picture.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah.
But still keeping Bailey there because I'm sorry, you still need Bailey.
Yeah. No, Bailey's not going anywhere.
You still need it's Bailey, man. It's freaking Bailey. And then so people are like giving shit to Triple H because like anytime there's like a episode 1 or whatever, Triple H comes out and welcomes everyone, and they're like, oh, he's just padding his ego. I'm like, so let me tell you about the senile old man's ego. That's a piece of crap.
Right.
And you're getting on Triple H, who's giving you some of the best wrestling content we ever thought we could have.
He only makes it doesn't do this a lot.
No.
It's not like it's like he's not like showing up on TV like Vince like all the freaking time.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day.
No.
It's like
so, I get people just want to gripe, And
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, it's just
it's you can't win them all, but to sit there, I guess comparing what it was before of the person that was a head booker and how many times he had to put himself involved with every freaking thing, compared to where Triple H is, where he comes out and welcome everyone to the USA Network on SmackDown, and that's it. Also, to end this, Smackdown logo. That's what I like what they were going with it, but it's just not working.
The logo is okay. The theme song I'm not big on. It didn't do anything for me really.
Yeah, it's just never gonna be the old like knock at the cost, the charge. Yeah, that my generation. That's my favorite theme. And most of the time the SmackDown themes.
I was more like Matt on the music. I don't think I have a big problem with the logo. They're trying to be creative.
Right, and they were talking about doing the fist.
It's just the music. I'm just like, that's why I'm like, if the reports are true that they're gonna look to get new music makers, fucking please.
Def Rebel sucks.
Yeah, everyone's tired of Def Rebel. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did you see someone because they were saying
GIF likes the like.
No. I said like I like what
and he agrees with me. Yes, he agrees with me that the theme song sucks.
Yes. What's up, GIF? And then last thing I'll say about the Def Rebel and everything like that. Yes, thank you. And the fact that they kept rearranging the music, I think they kept redoing music. Is for copyright reasons, so they didn't have to pay other artists. But now they're going to go to more premium artists. So I think this is more of like a Nick Khan of not just hiring one team. They will somehow negotiate deals with these artists, so that way if they still
like
get
how
paid,
they got
but
the deal.
you're not.
They got the deal for Cult of Personality, so Punk can keep using.
Kind of like that. But the funniest thing of like I've seen people online like put other wrestlers' entrances with like mainstream songs. And the best one was LA Knight coming out to Yeah about Usher. I thought that was probably the best one. Yeah, and he's just like walking out. But I am interested to see this. Has LA and Andrade ever had done a one-on-one that I can remember?
No, not that I'm aware of. So
that's two different styles, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, this whole feud between Mello and Andrade was really helped both of the guys, and they had another fantastic match. I don't know if it's completely over. We'll see. We'll see. Mello might try to fuck Andrade over in this title match against LA Knight this week. So we'll see.
Yeah. Who really knows? But yeah, anything else on SmackDown?
No, it's like it was an all right show. I was expecting a little bit more from like the return to USA Network. It's like they had the big title match and they had all the guests and everything, but there was some stuff in between that was kind of just like, it's all right.
And that's kind of the thing that we're worried about. It's like, you want to go 3 hours, you're 2 hours.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, it's like you want to stretch that for another hour.
No. For some reason, just SmackDown, even with Cody and Roman on it, it's still just
missing some stuff.
It's missing something. It just is. And I don't know. I can't put my finger on like what it's missing, because I'm like, you've got Cody, you've got Bloodline, you've got solid female wrestlers. You got their mid cards fine with Randy and Kevin Owens and
the mid card's really solid now. Now it's like with
Andrade and Mello and LA Knight and all that stuff. So it's not like you're lacking talent.
Yeah,
it just feels like it's missing.
Oh, one other thing, I forgot. I completely forgot to mention it in the rundown. What the fuck was what they did to Giovanni Vinci and Apollo Crews?
I don't know.
They've built up his show up, and he loses to Apollo Crews in less than 5 fucking seconds. What the fuck?
That was last week.
Pardon my language.
Or they do it again.
That just was like, I was like that was like the worst part for me. I'm like, that makes no fucking sense.
No.
Like how is he supposed to recover from that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what the booking logic behind that is.
I don't know. I mean, if they want to do what Zach Hawkins did, or not Kurt Hawkins, where his losing streak became a storyline. If you want to do that, but yeah, you do all this vignettes for Giovanni, you have him pin in 5 seconds, and then we don't see him again. It's like, so what's the point? I mean, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
that was just beyond baffling. But
Yeah.
that's
So anyway, let's move on to Raw, where people don't know how to close their doors when they get out of it.
yeah, apparently.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
That my OCD was freaking out when he.
Yeah, I
didn't
was
close
wondering that
damn
too.
door. I was like, "What are you doing? Close your door." Anyway.
All right, here's a recap what happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. CM Punk opened the show, came out and cut a very serious promo, saying that he doesn't sure how many matches to get left, but he has to end this feud with McIntyre and Hell in the Cell. He said his family, his wife, and everyone doesn't want him to do it, but he's going to do it because he has to. He's not going to promise to kill McIntyre, but he promises to make him bleed and everything, and said that if McIntyre's prepared to same, then Punk will see him in hell. Very awesome promo. Then we had Sheamus versus Pete Dunne grudge match after all the things going on between them last 3 weeks. While the ref was distracted, Pete Dunne hit him with a cricket back, knocking him silly, and used a pump kick to pin Sheamus for the 3 count. Damian Priest and Rhea were talking with Jimmy J. Uso in the back. He says he'll be watching the main event match between Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Then Miz was talking to Braun Strowman about what's going on with Bronson Reed. Seems like they're teasing a Miz heel turn. Then we had Natalya taking on Zoe Stark from Pure Fusion Collective. Natalya picked up the victory thanks to some help from Lara Valkyria and Zelina Vega at ringside, making sure Pure Fusion Collective didn't cause any shenanigans. Finn Balor talked to Rhea back. They argued about what happened with them getting kicked out of Judgment Day, and he said he was the devil on Dom's shoulder pushing him toward Rhea. Jey Uso came up to confront Finn and get him to back off. Jey went out to the ring, cut a promo about facing Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title. Braun came out to respond. They traded some insults. Braun went to spear Jey, but Jey speared him first out of the ring. Io Sky confronted Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill about Kairi Sane being injured last week, and this led to Belair agreeing to face Io Sky instead of Kairi tonight. Then the New Day took on the Judgment Day for the World Tag Team titles. The LW came out to counteract the Judgment Day, led to a big brawl. That led to a big distraction, which allowed Judgment Day to take out Xavier Woods, and Finn finished him with a coup de grace to retain titles. And Xavier Woods was really pissed at Kofi. He berated LW in the back for costing them the match. Kofi said that he asked them to come out to watch their backs, and Woods was more upset that he didn't tell them that was the plan. The teasing of the disintegration New Day continues. Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman tried to have a match, but Braun threw him into the corner immediately, broke off the top turnbuckle. The two brawled all over the arena and into the back, which led to the two of them getting speared through a wall and getting knocked out. And then we check out the medical. Louis Kaiser came out to confront Sami Zayn challenging Gunther. They went back and forth. It looked like Kaiser was teasing turning on Gunther, but it was a ruse, and he and Gunther attacked Sami instead. But when Gunther went to leave, Sami recovered and fought off Kaiser, setting up a match between them next week. Bianca Belair took on Io Sky in a banger TV match. Io Sky countered the KOD into a small package for the victory, probably setting up Damage Control versus them for the tag titles. Got a promo from Chad Gable, American Made, saying they're done with the White Six and moving on. Ilya Dragunov wished Jey Uso luck against Braun Breaker next week. And then Judge Jay came in to warn Ilya about who his choosing his friends are and gave him a warning to stay out of their business. Then we had the main event, Damian Priest taking on Dominic Mysterio. Despite Judgment Day shenanigans, Damian Priest picked up the victory with a Southland chokeslam, but Judgment Day swarmed and attacked afterwards. Rhea tried to help, but was taken out. Jey Uso tried to come out to make the save as well to try to help, but Braun Breaker appeared out of nowhere and speared Jey to prevent him from helping. And after several coup de grace on Damian Priest and an oblivion to Rhea, the Judgment Day stood tall over the Terror Twins to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw.
Okay. My brain was like 7 different segments. That is the CM Punk promo I've been wanting since he came back.
This is one that people have been wanting for a while because this was like no jokes. He was dead fucking serious. I loved every second of it.
It was
it was
kids. That's how you sell a match.
That's how you sell a blood feud match.
That's how you sell it. That's how you make a Hell in a Cell feel like, oh my God, they are going to kill each other.
Yeah,
not just hey, it's a Hell in a Cell again because we're gonna do it for storyline.
Now I really hope he said he promises he's gonna make McIntyre bleed. It's like Triple H let give us some color, let them bleed.
Part of me, I know it's not going to happen, but part of me wants CM Punk to like pull out a cinder block and look at it and be like, nah, and just like throw it to the side.
That would be a hell of a pot shot at AEW.
Yeah, and I feel like if they don't exist, I'm like, come on, man, have some fun, just do it, and just see how many episodes. Here's an experiment. I want them to do it, and then see how many times that AEW books everything around WWE bringing up the cinder block. Just because of how obsessed Tony is of bringing that stuff up, because it's becoming annoying now of how many times they bring up WWE. We get it. They're there. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Make a good show. That's all we want.
Yeah, just focus on making a fucking good show.
Yeah. Just make it that. But, I mean, just him getting out of the car, not closing the door, but he doesn't.
That was weird.
He doesn't. Yeah, that was weird. He doesn't say anything.
Unless he was planning to go right back into the car and leave after he was done with the promo.
Right. He doesn't say anything. He's the face. He doesn't smile. He doesn't acknowledge anybody. He's got his Bret Hart long sleeve sweater on, and then his music plays way before he's supposed to. Doesn't meet his music cues. Doesn't say it's clobbering time. It just never breaks stride. Never. It takes off his shirt, just throws it like nonchalantly.
Yeah, he was dead effing serious.
Dead effing serious. And he was just like, and when the whole thing was like, people ask me how many more Hell in the Cell matches I have. It's 0. My family have told me I don't want to do this. I shouldn't do this.
Right.
All that. I mean, that's how you make money, kids.
Yeah.
That is how you make money.
And then Drew McIntyre's response on social media to the promo was also awesome sauce.
Yes, and then this is the Punk I want. Yes,
it's like
now we're gonna hug it out, bitch, at the end of that Hell in the Cell. We just put on a banger, on that. So, and that's the main event, right?
It should be the main event. It hasn't been. It's not official yet, but it should. It's like, I'm sorry that if this Hell in the Cell match is not the main event, I'll be pissed.
It should start off with Cody and the tag team match, Cody and Roman, and end with that Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
It's.
Oh yeah, I think the Bloodline, the tag match against the Bloodline is probably going to be opener, and the Hell in a Cell should close.
Yeah. Where do you want to move on?
Wherever you want to go. There's it's like there was some good.
That was okay.
On the show.
I'll keep up with the good. That was probably the best promo Jay's done. Without just saying in a while, just the way he was, him and Braun just kind of went back and forth, and him just saying, this is going to be short and sweet like an NFL career. And I'm like, hey, there he is.
Yeah, though the zingers, I love the zingers between the two of them, especially the dig on the. I love Braun. Braun did a good job with like you had to go, motherfucker, you had to go there. It's like I was like, oh, it's on now.
Yeah, and then the Rhea thing of like, and then Finn basically just saying, I'm the reason, that I was in your ear. And I'm like, he just straight up came out and said it. And Rhea's reaction was
so that
really
means
good.
That he swiped the hotel key card, gave it to Dom, and told him to go for it.
Right. And he was in, obviously, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. If kids who don't remember, if you go back, Dom, Rhea, Liv, and Finn got out of a car together.
Yeah,
that way back when that was played off in the background.
So she was already winning him over.
Mm-hmm. So she was already doing that. Plus,
Oh yeah, that makes sense with all the seeds that we saw planted with, it's like.
And then them all walking in that flying V and like in all black and stuff like that. I'm like, I swear to God, this was in Blade somewhere. Just the way they looked. Just the way they. I was just like, remember, like I think it was like Blade 2. Remember, he went in and like met like the other, and like there was just, it just reminded me of Blade, just the way they were dressed and stuff like that. I thought that was good. And then Rhea's reaction when Finn told her that, he's like, no, it was May.
Oh, she was. You could see the rage on her face.
Just the rage and like her, like almost like coming to tears of just how you broke, like it's just how much heartbreak.
It's like just taking the dagger and just stabbing it into the heart.
Just twisting it, and then Jay coming up and be like, we got a problem here, and it was more just the nonchalant type of thing of not, and then the whole thing of like, I'm out of your league. She's like, no. He goes, oh, I didn't think so. I'm me.
Yeah, right. It's like I like the interaction between Rhea and Jay is amusing. It's like,
I will say though at the end, because since we'll just wrap all of it in the Judgment Day segments all in a whole here, and it was a fine match at the end, and I like all the shenanigans, and it was just a really good match. I just really enjoyed that.
Yeah, good main event.
Good main event. They still talk, but the thing is like, Braun, as fast as you are, you couldn't get your cue quicker, because like literally Jay came out. And then
he was standing there for a bit. It's like before he got speared. I was like, why is he hesitating? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Here comes Braun.
Yeah, because typically, if the reason we're
saying Braun, I thought it would be a little bit more like bang, bang, boom.
Right. You figured because typically, especially baby faces, they don't run down and then assess the situation. Like they run down and just go full bore, don't give a crap. Like that's typically how baby faces are when they come in to make the save. But he just kind of sat there. So again, it's more of my wrestling trained brain of when a baby face comes out, they go in, they slide in, and then if they get beat up, they get beat up. But they're still not going to get on the fight. The heels are the ones that come out and assess the situation to make sure they make the right thing. So that's why it just threw me off a little. Of like, where's Braun? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, maybe it's a situation, but that doesn't make any sense. Because like he like came out like a bat out of, he like kind of came out like striding and was getting ready to do, because you know how he always does. He like kind of comes out and like feels the crowd and then takes off running to the ring. And he kind of just still like started like he did it, but then he just stopped there. And then finally he kind of like looked over like, where the fuck is Braun? Like he had that look on his face of like, where are you? Can you come out here? So I think that was a little miscue. I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was a little miscue on that. Hey, you know remember how they tried to make Pure Fusion Collective a thing, and now they're just getting squashed everywhere?
Yep.
I
don't care.
I don't care. All right, dude. Xavier Woods. That was awesome.
They are really leaning too hard into him turning heel and breaking up the New Day right now. It's like if they actually pull the trigger, I'll be impressed. But like this could be a good way to have Big E come in and try to like squash the beef and see what happens.
Yeah, because I mean with him saying like, "What are you doing?" He was
like, "He can't get physical though because he's not clear, so he can't get like physical." So it's like
no. I guess I'll move on to this segment. I always like this. It reminded me of this as soon as I saw it come out, and you'll kind of laugh as soon as you see it.
Cricket? Nobody understands cricket. You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. I'll teach you.
So for those that don't know, that's from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 1990. Yep. But as soon as Pete Dunne brought out the cricket pad, I'm like, cricket? You gotta understand what a crumpet is to understand cricket. Fight forever, I guess.
Yeah. Sheamus and Pete Dunne are awesome.
Yeah. And I'm glad obviously Pete Dunne is one of Triple H's dudes.
He needed that after losing to Trick on NXT. Kind of needed.
I figured because it's only him losing to Sheamus was only going to hurt, and they know what they have in Pete Dunne, especially being one of those mid cards.
If it's him getting up into the upper mid card again, I'm all for it.
Yeah. This is probably the best I've seen Braun Strowman in a while.
Yeah, this is the best use of Braun Strowman since he's returned. Last year.
And it's all have to do with good booking and Bronson Reed.
Giant meaty men slapping meat.
Oh yeah. The big mini men division is going full bore on it. And the way they did them
with him and Bronson Reed. I love that it was just quick. Like I was like, what? I was like, wait, what? It's like
Right.
the ring has already been wrecked.
The ring's already been wrecked. And like just the way they did it, and then Bronson Reed was like, "All right, I did it. I'm done." And then Braun's like in the ring, and he like turns around and goes, "No, we're not. Come on." And then they kept going, and then him flipping the golf cart and the camera and the tsunami, and then I was like, "Oh, that drywall just got put up."
Yeah, I was like, I think they're going through the wall.
All right.
They're definitely Miz heel turn is coming, which is welcome. Have him go back to being heel.
That Sammy stuff was pretty repetitive.
It was, and I didn't buy for a second that Kaiser was going to turn on Gunther.
No.
Not at this time. I don't. It's like it's just more delay in them finally getting the title match.
Mm-hmm. All right. My favorite match that I've seen in quite some time, that Io Bianca match.
Oh my god, dude, that match was a banger.
You'd message me, you're like, because you knew I was rewatching it later, and you're just like, all I'm gonna say is Bianca and Io. I'm like, okay, and I was like, yeah, you ain't wrong. Like they let them women.
Yeah, I told you. I was like that. It's like that match was awesome.
And just the way you can just tell how much chemistry you have when they kept.
Well, they've always had mad good chemistry. Like their match last year at Backlash in Puerto Rico was awesome.
Yeah. And Io getting the win.
Yeah, obviously setting up Damage Control, getting the title shot.
Right.
Tag titles.
Yeah, which is fine.
Which is fine.
But
it was great. Great match.
Yeah, no, that was really, really good. Just
that was match of the night, even better than the main event.
Yeah, it was definitely the match of the night for sure. All right, there's a couple of things that you had some discrepancies with on this show.
Not much else. Most of the Pure Fusion Collective stuff, it's like I just can't get invested. And trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, it was a good show. It wasn't a great show. Trying to think if there's anything else I didn't really care for.
I mean,
I
thought it was a pretty solid ass show. You had big meaty men stuff. You had the Judgment Day stuff. Pretty much didn't like it. Kept it.
Yeah, the CM Punk promo was great. Bianca and Io had an awesome match. Main event was good.
Yeah, I mean, like really, the only thing was just that the Pure Fusion.
Yeah.
Collective is just no one cares.
Yeah, Sheamus versus Pete Dunne was good. It's like there wasn't a lot bad in this episode, so it was a very good episode. I thought.
No, was there any Miz? Can't remember.
Just a brief moment where he was talking to Strowman about
That's right. I know. I thought that was remember Miz.
Like, so you're saying it's like basically he's like asking like, so you're basically saying I can't handle, I'm not good enough to handle Bronson Reed because I'm not like you. So it feels like they're gonna. Miz is gonna go back to being heel again soon. If maybe we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to AEW Dynamite. Guess what? Will Ospreay still good at wrestling?
Yeah. As a recap of what happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. Show opened with Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy, and with what's been going on between them lately. Lots of shenanigans where the Wrestler and Tree tried to help Jericho cheat to win, but Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly had their buddy Orange Cassidy's back. When the ref was distracted, Jericho tried to use a World Quarters to take out Orange Cassidy, but he stole them and used them on an Orange Punch to knock Jericho silly and pick up the victory. A pre-tape promo from Pac and Claudio talking about that Wheeler Yuta needs to show up and defend the titles with them next week. They're disappointed that he needs to make a decision soon, and Moxley reiterated that. Basically saying he needs to decide if he's on their side or not. Yuta was interviewed, and he still being distracted like he was on Collision. He even almost left behind his trios title in the locker room. Hook squashed a guy named JD Inc. in a minute with Red Rum. Commander and Private Party accepted open challenge for the trios title match next week at Grand Slam. Christian Cage cut a promo saying he was going to win the world title with his title shot, and he wants Nick Wayne to win one of the other titles as well. Kip Sabian showed up, and Cage threatened to kill him if he keeps showing up and butting into their business. Then we had Serena Deeb and Mariah May teaming up against Yuka Sakazaki and Queen Aminata. Match is going fine until Mariah May hit Yuka with her title belt for a DQ loss and beat her up afterwards. Mina Shirakawa had a pre-tape promo talking about Mariah May wanting her to come back. Another hype package for Nigel McGuinness versus Bryan Danielson. The Blackpool Combat Club came out to cut a promo, but they were attacked by Private Party. They beat them down, and Moxley used a hammer on Isaiah Cassidy's hand. Darby Allin came out to attack Moxley, but decided to back off. Darby Allin got on the mic and promised that he was going to take out Moxley at Grand Slam and go on to Wrestle Dream challenge for the world title. Ricochet took on Beast Mortos. Ricochet picked up the victory. Hangman Page came out to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone, saying that he promised to hurt anyone who held him back from getting his revenge at Swerve. While he was suspended, he heard Tony Schiavone cheering for Strickland and looked like he was going to try to attack him, but Jeff Jarrett came out to make the save, and they got into a fight. Jeff Jarrett got on the mic and promised he was going to take care of Page. Ricochet talked to Will Ospreay in the back, and it looks like they're going to be facing each other in a title match on the anniversary show on October 2nd. Then we had our main event match, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher teaming up with Konosuke Takeshita to take on the Elite, the Young Bucks, and Okada. Good match. They were able to double team Matt Jackson with Kyle Fletcher picking up the victory to give them the win. After the match, Ospreay went to shake Takeshita's hand again, and he ignored him. But they stood tall as the Elite retreated to close out the show. So that's how that happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
All right, can you tell the people who the Beast Mortis is? Because every time he shows up, he's awesome.
He's originally from Mexico.
Okay, but yeah, that was a great match. Between him and Ricochet. This is the match that everyone's like, oh, this is Ricochet. This is why you're good. On that, and then plus, him teasing with Will Ospreay. I mean, that's your money match anyway. And also solid mic work from Wheeler Yuta. I really enjoyed that. But anything else you want to touch on other than the fact that they still don't know how to book women's matches and no lead up to Mariah May's next thing, and I'm like,
that match had no heat. That match had no heat, no nothing to it. That was another example of bad booking. It's like the only person who the fans have any kind of care or heat about when that match is Mariah May. It's unfortunate, but it's facts. Honestly, most of that first hour I thought was like nah. Yeah. Didn't care. I mean, Jericho and Orange Cassidy had a good match, but it's just like didn't care because I didn't care about the feud. Wasn't invested in it. I felt like the show really started to get good when Private Party actually grew some balls and attacked Moxley and Company, and then got thrashed as a result. Mm-hmm. After that, I felt the show finally woke up and started. It felt like a good episode.
I really like what they're doing.
Second hour was much better than the first hour.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing with the Blackpool Combat Club. Every time they come on screen, I'm looking for their segments because they deliver every time. This is what they thought they were going to get with Undisputed Kingdom.
I'll borrow a line from someone whose work I really enjoyed. They came up with this line a long time ago. I love shoot comments that aren't supposed to be shoot comments, where Moxley said, "You guys are in the same spot you were 5 years ago." Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. And maybe that's why I'm like digging these, because Moxley is shooting without shooting.
Yeah.
Dude just knows how to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they just know how to do trios matches.
Yeah, that main event cooked. It was really.
It was so good. And yeah, I mean, it just.
And that match made sense, where it's like, like some other matches are just kind of thrown together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. At this point,
the women's tag match was off of Collision, stuff that happened on Collision, but you got people involved that have like the fans aren't really invested in.
No.
Like I mean they like Yuki, but it's like they don't care about Queen. They don't give a damn about Queen Amina. And Serena Deeb, yeah, she's a heel, but it's like you saw what happened when they had her feud with Tony Storm, man. It's like
Yeah. It just
and it sucks because Serena's really good in the ring. It's just like what she's gotten. It's like she's lacking in the charisma tournament. So the show started off really blah, and then in the second hour it was like, okay, now this is much better.
yeah.
So
but
once
no.
again, an inconsistent Dynamite.
Yeah. Who do you think takes that? I mean, it's not Wheeler Yuta. So who takes that other spot?
I don't know. They're really teasing whether or not Yuta's going to. It's like, it's like, it was just see what's going to happen. Like, are they going to remain the trios champions, or, well, they can't find a replacement because they already because of the previous booking logic when Jay White and the Guns had the trios titles, when Jay White got hurt, they didn't let Juice Robinson take his place. They put the fucking titles up for grabs.
Right.
So it's like but I can see them ignoring it because sometimes they just don't follow their own logic right now.
No.
So
no.
I can't.
Just like Claudio, your congratulations. It's like, what? Are they calling them the Blackpool Combat Club?
No, they're not calling themselves Blackpool Combat Club. I'm just referring to that until they come up with a new name.
Right.
But I did love that promo where they're basically like, "Yo, Yuta, either you're with us or against us. Make up your mind."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This makes me what they're doing with that, and then Will Ospreay makes me tune in every week.
Yeah, and of course, him and Fletcher and Ospreay are not going to beat the Bucks for the tag out, especially since they pinned one of the Young Bucks this match. So it's like if you, I didn't think they were going to win. It's like now I know for sure they're not going to be one of the tag titles.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like you said, like the first hours, like because like Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho's like I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Hook was on the show. Why?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, even Roddy are going to have a match. And it'll probably be good, but it's just like, it's like they need to find better for him. It's like, okay, fine. You want to have him out there? You squash a guy. Okay, fine. But
I did want to say, Darby's killing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they so this. I mean, they've already sold it because he's Darby and Moxley. But that promo that Darby cut to him was really good. So I mean, he's Darby. There's a video I did see where when he was walking off and some little kid handed him a WWE title belt, like a little plastic WWE title belt to sign, and he just kind of sat there and was like, he finally signed it, but he just had like this really funny look of just like, really, bro? On that. So I thought that was pretty funny there. Any final words on AEW?
No, like I said, the show didn't start out great, but it got better in the second hour. So okay episode. Just once again, just the inconsistency is frustrating right now with AEW.
Gotcha. Now to move on, dude. Ethan Page's mic work is fun, dude.
I have some more positive things to say when it comes to NXT, which is no surprise because
yeah. So here we go.
All right, here's a recap what happened on this week's episode of NXT. Show opened with the contract signing between Ethan Page and Trick Williams for their NXT title match in Chicago in 2 weeks on the CW debut episode. Back and forth arguing happened, and then they got into a fight, and Ethan Page hit the Ego's edge, putting Trick through the table, although they didn't sign the contract. Tony D confronted Hammerstone about failing to take out Open Femi for him last week, which led to them having a match later in the show. John Evans was looking for a match on one of the CW debut episodes. More on that later. Tatum Paxi and Lyra Valkyria defeated Wendy Chu and Rosemary in a tag match. Charlie Dempsey welcomed Tavia Hines back to the North Dakota Catch Crew from being in Japan. Said that he and Miles Bourne need to go get the tag titles. And Ren Sinclair needs to go make a name for himself, which he decided to do. Tony D'Angelo took out a Hammerstone, but Hammerstone was overpowering him. And then surprisingly, Tony D just gave up and walked out of the match and giving Hammerstone the count of victory. Zyker Wentz appeared at the commentary desk and had the truck play clip of Wesley attacking Trey Miguel last week to prevent them from going after the tag team titles. He promised that Wesley was going to suffer a lot of pain in their Chicago street fight in 2 weeks. Tyrese Halliburton, NBA All-Star, told Ava that he would be able to help her get the contract signed between Trick and Ethan Page. Fatal Influence warned Lola Vice that they were going to take care of it tonight. Vice was warmed up with the back, and Jada Parker came in, and they argued. Vice said that Parker could have a piece of them after she's done with them first. Eddie Thorpe defeated Ashante Adonis in a one-on-one match. Thea Hale and Riley Osborne cut a promo on Ridge Holland, promising that they're going to make him pay for what he's done to Chase U. CM Punk came out to cut a promo, hyping up that he wanted to be in Chicago because he loves NXT and wanted to be there on their debut episode of Chicago. Before he could reveal his announcement that he wanted to give, Roxanne Perez cut him off. At first, seemed like being happy that she was in the ring with him, but then went back into proper heel mode and dissed him, saying that she wishes she had been a Drew McIntyre fan instead of, and that she preferred his wife AJ over him. Punk warned her about the chip on her shoulder and that she's got to keep her eye on the prize about Julia coming after her in 2 weeks in Chicago. Julia came out, warned Roxanne that she's only got 2 weeks left before they clash. When she turned to leave, Roxanne tried to hit her with the title belt from behind, but CM Punk stopped her. Kalani Jordan was being interviewed when Winston Clink came up and slapped her in her face to basically challenge her, which she realized was a mistake when Kalani went after her with a vengeance. Tony D'Angelo admitted to the family that he's scared of Oba Femi. He doesn't know what to do. Later, Adriana Rizzo went to him and had a one-on-one chat with him, encouraging him that they believe in him, but he needs to believe in himself and that he believes that he can beat Oba Femi. She suggests that they do some special training to help him prepare for a rematch, and they hugged. The No Quarter Catch crew took on Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. The babyfaces picked up the victory when Kalani chasing Ren Sinclair caused a distraction that the babyfaces were able to take advantage of. After the match, it was announced that Javon Evans would have an opponent on the October 8th episode in St. Louis, and it would be St. Louis's own Randy Orton, which Randy had announced on social media that he was going to that he decided to challenge Javon to a match. Brooks Jensen defeated Deion Lennox in a one-on-one match. Wesley bragged about what he did to Trey Miguel and that he was going to end things with Zachary Wentz in 2 weeks in the Chicago street fight. A-Town Down Under was shown a video they posted on social media where they challenged Axiom and Nathan Frazier to an NXT Tag Team title match. And that match was set for the October 8th episode in St. Louis. Jason Kidd took on Lola Vice. Lola Vice picked up the victory quickly in a short match. They Fatal Influence went to beat her down afterwards, but Jada Parker made the save. But her and Vice got into it afterwards and had to be pulled apart. Then we had the main event segment. Tyrese Halliburton came out, got Trick Williams and Ethan Page to sign the contract for their title match in 2 weeks on the debut episode on the CW. Then CM Punk came out and announced that he was going to be the special guest referee, which was the announcement he was trying to make earlier before Roxanne interrupted him. And Ethan Page and Trick Williams got into it again and had to be separated by officials while CM Punk watched on amused. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of NXT.
All right. I'll let you go, but I just have to say that segment, I pray for it, and it happened with Roxanne and CM Punk. Like, I was
going to say, you want to talk about that first because I knew you were going to love that. That's why I made sure not to say anything in the Discord. So I didn't even want to imply anything because I wanted you to be surprised and enjoy that moment.
I mean, it's the squabbles that a father and daughter go through. She's at that part that I know more than you as the teenager stuff would be, and so she hasn't gotten to the age where she appreciates what he's all that he's done.
Well,
for
he's
her.
trying the wisdom he's trying to impart on her because
yes,
she's pulled him up.
but she's just like, why? This is dumb, like a really teenager.
The fact that she got 2 birds in with I should have been a Drew McIntyre fan. I like your wife better, which made me even laugh even more.
It was you can just tell they were trying to keep a straight face like the whole time.
You could tell Roxanne how excited Roxanne was to be in the ring with her idol. It's like
and plus too, like sometimes, especially when she became heel, it felt forced, and she was trying to get her footing on how to correct direct promo. And then sometimes it helps when it takes 2 to tango, and you're in there with someone that you're comfortable with, and he probably coached her and all that stuff too, because that was a solid heel work that she was doing. Like, really
it was. I was like, what's going on here with her being? She was acting like her old babyface self, but then she slipped right into But now I realize I should have been a Drew McIntyre. I was like, oh, here we go. I love Drew. I love Pumpkin Slice. Like, oh, come on.
And then Drew's reaction online was pretty funny too. He's like, "That's right."
That's right. Yeah, Drew was very happy.
Yeah, and all that. But yeah, I mean, she's just so good, and it's you can tell like how proud he is and all that stuff. And
I thought for a second he was going to announce that he was going to be the special ref for their match, but it's like
he doesn't need to be there for that. It makes more sense with him and Ethan,
right,
and Trick.
But the only thing you know, he was like, he said he had an announcement, and then the interruption happened, and then Julia came out, and then he stopped Roxanne from doing the sneak attack, which I liked. I liked that. I'm like, wait a minute, what was the announcement? We'll find out later.
Right.
Do you feel like they're leaning in too much in that Roxanne, it's like you don't know what you're dealing with Julia here in 2 weeks? A little bit too much, or
no, not really, because you have to sell the match of people who aren't us, who keep up with the other people. So you have to sell that Julia is just some unstoppable force that has come.
Well, my concern is that it seems like they're trying to. It's like that. If you lean too much into like that, like Roxanne doesn't have a chance, then it's like I'm like.
I see what you're saying.
But because like
it doesn't really help either one in that sense. Is that what you're saying? Like, because if Julia loses, then like what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. Because they can't have they're not. It's like it would be like the colossal like mistake to have Julia job in her big title match.
And you have to have it. You have to have it clean because
yeah. Go ahead.
You're not gonna. You can't. Like, this is such a hard thing because I understand now what you're saying. Now my head's starting to hurt because it's like, where do you go from here? Because you can't do like a Cora Jade shenanigans because then that doesn't really help either thing. And
we don't even. We have no idea how it. She's not even close to being clear yet. So it's like she's.
Right.
I don't think she's
so you
gonna
can't really have any shenanigans with it. If you have Julia win, then where do you go with Roxanne? Like, do you have her win it back just automatically? If you have Julia lose, then you've lost everything with Julia, so you can't do that.
Like I said, there's only 2 outcomes that make sense. Julia wins the title, or the match, some shenanigans happen, and the match gets started out, and then they do a rematch at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
Because that's more possible. We'll see. Because now that we know that CM Punk is the special referee for Trick versus Ethan, that's the main event.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the main event.
It's like as much as you and I would like to have seen Julia versus Roxanne be the main event. Now that CM Punk is special referee, it's like no, that's the main event.
Yes.
It's like, especially in Chicago. So
and Ethan, I loved Ethan's mic work.
He was fantastic in this episode.
He was fantastic.
And then laying Trick out through the table was great. So that's why I think Roxanne Julia should open the October 1st show.
Okay,
Have them open the show with a banger, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, it's like the one thing I know for sure is Julia is not going to just job clean to Roxanne. Having her lose, period, even if it's like a screwy, like cheating finish, that doesn't do her any favors. And then so we'll see. I mean, it's like
You can't
That's
have
the
Julia
thing.
lose clean. That's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just don't. It's like I don't want to see her like. It's like we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it does. I still think the match is going to be a banger. I'm wondering like, okay, what are they going to do with the finish? Are they going to have Julia win the title here? Because I can see them doing it because this is a big deal. This is a big show. This is their debut on the CW. They've loaded up the show. They've got Punk on here on the show because it's in Chicago as a special guest referee. Jade and Bianca are going to show up. Miz is going to show up to do a Miz TV segment. And then for the following week in St. Louis, also on the road, now we've got Randy Orton taking on Javon Evans, which
that's going to be fun as hell, dude.
Oh my god! It's like I saw the tweet before they talked about it on the episode. That's because I follow Randy on Twitter, and I refreshed and I saw him tweet that. I'm like, oh no, oh Javon, it's like, dude. But talk about this is how much they think of Javon that they're putting him up against Randy Orton.
Not the Miz, Randy effing Randall
in his hometown.
Yes,
St. Louis, where he's gonna get a pop like Punk gets when he's in Chicago.
This is one of those. I think after the match, they're gonna do the whole Undertaker, like he's the Undertaker at this point, of like
respect.
I like what you're doing, son.
Right,
that whole thing.
Like this is an opportunity for him to like really go out. He's gonna lose,
right?
But he's gonna look like a star, and that's how. And that's the way to do it. And then we got Fraxium taking on A-Town Down Under for the tag team titles. So they're loading up both shows for the first 2 weeks here with main roster talent to help help give them a good ratings kickoff. But yeah, no, like I said, since obviously with CM Punk as a referee, Trick versus Ethan is going to be the main event of that show. So if that's the case, then Julia Roxanne needs to have them open with a freaking banger. We're hoping they're going to deliver and kick the show off into high gear.
Yeah.
So
now I'm getting ready to surprise you.
Now I want to make things clear. It's like obviously, it's not like I want Roxanne to just lose time. It's like she's had a great run. It's like her time is almost up. You can feel it's almost over because
it's never up, man.
Because you notice what Punk was saying in the promo about that. Like he mentioned about the banger match that Io and Bianca had, and said that she can go with them. He was basically implying that she's ready for the main roster, which she is.
She is. But it's never over, man. But
if it wasn't for the Corey Jade injury, she'd probably already be on the main roster.
Yeah, we said that. You don't go to 2 Royal Rumbles in a row without them wanting you to be on the main roster. And I think that's why they kept Cora. They had to keep, because Cora got injured. Here's how the dominoes fell. Cora gets, because Roxanne got the Royal Rumble, but then Cora got hurt. Then instead of Roxanne getting the call up, Lyra got the call up, because I don't think Lyra was supposed to get that call up. Just how the dominoes fell. So they needed to keep.
I was surprised
Roxanne
she got called up this early.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they were prepared to really. They were like, all right, well, I need some female, and so they're like, all right, we'll just take Lyra. We'll keep Roxanne here because Roxanne needs to be that staple that holds that women division down.
But obviously, they obviously they felt that Lyra was ready, or else they wouldn't have drafted her.
Right.
Oh, by the way, it's like I don't think we mentioned it, but apparently the reason why we haven't seen Kiana James is apparently she's injured. Which
I was wondering. I was like, okay.
Apparently she got injured, so she's gonna be. That's why she hasn't been on Raw for a while.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was thinking about Kalani Jordan. I don't know why when you said that. I was like.
But yeah. So it's like because they were. It was very clear that because when Cora came back, she was like winning match after match after match, and it was. I was like, okay, they're building Cora up to face Lyra for the title, probably at Stand and Deliver. And Cora's probably going to win it. But when she got it's like they're like, okay, now what do we do? We need a credible heel opponent for Lyra over the next few months. That's where they're like, okay, let's have Roxanne turn heel and fill that void.
Mhm.
And also, it was a good thing for Roxanne because now she's got the practice of doing heel work under her belt as well, while in NXT before going to the main roster.
Right.
So it ended up being actually a good thing, even though it's like we both feel Roxanne is more than ready to tangle with the big names on the main roster. This ended up being really good for her, and she's had a great run with the title.
Great run with the title.
And obviously they're like, okay, because by that time they knew that, okay, we got Julia signed. She's coming in a few months, but not right away because she's going to do her commitments to Japan. So we're going to give Roxanne a good run with a heel run with the title, and then when Julia comes in, that's when we can have them clash, and then you have Julia eventually win the title whenever they decide to do it, whether it's going to be on this episode or they something screwy happens and they have a rematch at Halloween Havoc. It's only a matter of time before Julia's going to win that title. It's like you don't hype up someone of Julia's caliber and not have her put her right at the top. It's like I know some people are like, why is Julia getting this title shot? It's like because they spent months hyping her rival.
And for some people out there that's saying like she's just going to debut and then get the championship, look at Ethan Page. It took him what, like a month?
A month.
He had 2 matches. He somehow lost one.
Within a few weeks of debuting in NXT, he won the NXT championship.
So to sit there and be like, I can't believe they did that. Well, they literally just did that like 5 months ago.
And plus, the women's division in NXT is so loaded. If Roxanne leaving is not going to hurt the division because Julia's here now.
It's good.
They'll miss them, but Julia's here now. Stephanie Vaquer is going to be showing up soon. It's like hopefully it's like I'm expecting her to show probably in the next couple weeks. So either if not during the CW debut episodes, probably by Halloween Havoc, depending on if they've got this visa situation sorted out. Because I can't wait for her to debut because they can really lead because they're going to lean into the history between Julia and Stephanie because Stephanie beat Julia for the New Japan Strong Women's title, so they got history.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the word it's like we don't know about Delta. Apparently, they got this Delta woman from Australia coming in, and just all the other talent. Sol Rucka, Kalani Jordan. Everyone we talk about. It's like. With both Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, they can be like the big names at the top of the division, and then you can get ready to have Roxanne move up to the main roster by the end of the year.
This is me being biased in all the sense, but I just now realize that how you eventually. Okay, this is the future that I'm thinking here. Getting my Nostradamus hat on. How you save the tag team and put some good stuff on that tag team on the main roster, it's Cora and Roxanne for how good they are together, and what they could do.
What they could do for the women's tag division, yeah.
Yes. Now that being said, they are well enough to carry their own and sell WrestleMania tickets. Obviously, all bias aside, but those two together, because they kind of remind me of like 2 really good singles, but they're just so good together and their chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like back.
Well, yeah, it's like it was. They were fun to watch when they won the women's tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was like what 2 years ago now.
2 years ago, yeah, something like that. They're like the new they could because of just how they riff off each other. They could be the new Iconics.
The question.
They're not that funny though. No one's ever going to be funny, the Iconics.
Are they going to hold off? Are they going to do they want to wait to send Roxanne to the main roster before Cora is able to come back, or they want to hold on to Roxanne a little bit longer and have her and Cora have that final blow off?
I'm hoping they have that Cora.
It just depends on it depends on when Cora's going to be able to get back in the ring. That's the thing.
We don't know. We really don't.
Like people are thinking well, Charlotte's probably gonna be back soon, and the word is she may not be.
She may not be.
It's like recovering from she tore
everything.
She tore her ACL and her meniscus. She tore Like Charlotte tore like just about
Everything.
everything in the knee.
Cora, that's the thing is Cora only tore her ACL. Charlotte tore her knee.
Yeah, she tore the ACL, the meniscus. It's like it was really bad. It's like that's why it's
There
like
was three.
her was going to be longer.
It wasn't patella, but there was
Yeah.
3 things she tore. I think it was
Yeah,
the patella,
she
the meniscus, and the ACL.
Yeah,
Like it was.
where
she
Cora
tore-
was just an ACL tear.
Right. So, I think she come back. Okay. Now, I alluded to it before.
Yeah. So, final thing is, yes, I'm excited for Julie here. Yes, I want to see Julie win the title. It's just like, it's how the booking's going to play out. It's like, don't fuck this up. It's like, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen.
Don't
It's like-
Deanna Purrazzo this situation. is
Really,
what we're
no.
saying.
It's like, don't screw Julie over out of the gate. It's like, they may have her just win the title, and then they could have it. They could easily just have her win the title, and then Roxanne is all like, I want a rematch, and then do a rematch at Halloween Havoc. It's like, because Halloween Havoc is the next NXT PLE in October. So, either way, I'm excited because this is not just a one-off thing. I think this is going to be it's going to be a little mini feud.
Mhm.
It's like, just as long as it's booked right.
Yeah.
So, loved it. And I'm glad people are. I was like, people were wondering, like, how good is her English? Like, I've seen clips. It's like her English is quite good, and she's showing it.
Yeah.
So,
She is. All right. So, like I was saying before, you're going to be surprised. My favorite whole story segments of this show was Tony D'Angelo. That was really good.
this is the best story work they've done with Tony D'Angelo in quite a while. I like this. You know why?
I bought it.
Yeah. You know why I liked it? It reminded me of one of my favorite movies, Rocky 3.
Yeah. It was, and the fact of like, because he's always the one that everyone looked up to. Like, we always
Right.
went to you for answers. You always stood fast. You never ran away from a fight.
I didn't realize it until he did the whole "I'm afraid,"
Right.
and then Rizzo was like the Adrian, where it's like it's like, we believe in you, I believe in you, but you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe you can beat him. And I was like, this is like Rocky 3. It's like Tony's Rocky and Oba is Clubber Lang. He doesn't think he can. He
can't beat him, Rock.
Can't beat him. It's like, he's a wrecking machine.
Right.
He'll knock you into tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is what Oba Femi's been doing. He is
right. Because we always said, like, who's going to stop Oba? This now makes sense that it's going to be Tony for how they built it up. Like
I
the
actually
Rocky.
believe that they might have Tony be the one to dethrone him.
Yeah. Because
at
the
this
way,
point.
and they've made it make sense more now. Not just me being like, you
That would
disrespect
be huge.
me.
Not only that would be huge for Tony as a wrestler and as a character
Mhm.
if he dethrones Oba Femi and wins the North American title.
Yeah.
When
No.
he's like been crushing people.
Yeah, that was a good call with the Rocky 3. Like, that's exactly what they're doing. And that's why it drew me in. That's why Rocky's like one of the best.
I did not
franchises
realize it until I was like, this sounds familiar. And then I saw someone online saying, like, this is like out of Rocky 3 playbook.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it is.
Yeah.
I
I did not realize that. I didn't see that
love
either.
Rocky
but
movies.
yeah.
I love the Rocky franchise.
Yeah.
Rocky 3 is one of my favorite of the franchise. It's like, so
Creed-
I like
Creed-
that. I'm with you. I thought that was great stuff.
Yeah, I ate every minute of it up because it was different. Plus him with
Yeah.
Hammerstone, I'm like, okay, he's just gonna beat him and then blah blah blah. You know, just like the typical.
Yeah, no,
And then
I
he
was
just
worried like,
stopped and
oh,
left.
great. Yeah, poor Hammerstone's going to job at Tony. No.
No.
So that was a nice surprise.
Yeah. Dude, Tavion Heights going to Noah was the perfect decision.
Yeah, he looks great.
He looks really good.
They got
Prince St. Clair is hilarious. This is like
oh my God.
so good.
Yeah, this is one of the things I love. I had high hopes. Like I said, I was like, I didn't really really invested in No Quarter Catch Crew.
I wasn't either.
But I liked some of the things I saw run Scout. Her being added into the group has been a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like her character work. The comedic comedy work she's doing as part of this group is hilarious. I just love that. It's like she obviously looks up to Charlie Dempsey,
Right.
and he's like, it's like, go make a name for yourself. So she walks up to Kalani Jordan and slugs her in the face. Not like Jada Parker did to Roxanne. It's like, but I loved that when after she did it, she realized that she fucked up. Like, oh my god, no!
Yeah. Oh no, when Oba's was a couple weeks ago when Oba, she's like, oh, you can take on anyone. He's like, no. She's like, yeah, you can. And then Oba Femi's music kid, she goes, I am so sorry.
Right. I love what they're doing with Ren Sinclair and the No Catch Crew. I love it. And I'm sure he's gonna be really mad at her because what she did to Kalani was a distraction that cost them the tag match against Cedric and Javon.
Yeah. Have they done the Lyra and Tatum entrance like that before?
No, that was cool. I like
that. That was really cool.
No, I really enjoyed that. It's cool seeing that Lyra is like, patched things up with Tatum Paxley and is like being like a real friend to her. And it's like it's fun. She's still got the crazy, but it's like Lyra's kind of like trying to like guide her in the right way. So I'm digging it.
And honestly, like Rosemary was exactly what Wendy Chu needed to be like the
mouthpiece. I'm liking the Wendy Chu Rosemary pairing, especially because it's going back and forth as part of the TNA crossover.
Right. And then didn't Sol Rucka wasn't she on TNA?
Sol Rucka showed up to help Jordan Grace do a tag match on TNA.
Yeah. With that. Any other things you want to kind of touch on?
Let's see.
Because like that's the only thing with NXT. It's like I understand that's where like the developmental stuff comes in with like the Eddie Thorpe and like some of those matches. I'm just like they just put them on. I'm just like eh.
Yeah, it's like Eddie Thorpe. They're working on him. They're trying to give him like some more character, build him up. That's fine.
Not to say that you can't win me over, because when we started doing this, you can run like 4 or 5 months ago episodes where I'm just like, help me realize why I should care about No Quarter Catch Crew, the Angela family, or Chase U. And now I'm like, and then they step their game up with all 3 of them.
Yeah, like the what Ridge Holland is doing, it's like it's great. I'm very interested to see where they're going with Brooks Jensen and Sean Spears relationship. It's like I'm interested to see where that's going to go. It's like tag division's heating up. They set up a lot. They set up stuff to load up the October 8th episode, which I was glad to see it because I felt like they were putting all their eggs in like the October 1st episode. But they obviously want to make a big splash with both of these first 2 episodes because they're on the road and out of the Performance Center.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it was I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see them. I mean, just what that episode. Yeah, you sold me like with just Roxanne and Julia, and then you just keep adding on. It's just like that's a money show, but now it's all on the talent. It's like, all right, guys, that's a pep talk of like you prepare. You can do this. You prepare for this.
Yeah, I think
all eyes are going to be on you.
Now that I think about it a little bit more, I think one of the main purposes of it, not only was it just for CM Punk to lay the seeds that, number 1, Roxanne is ready for the main roster. And number 2, if you're overconfident, if you're too overconfident, you're going to fall. Because she said she feels like she's untouchable. And so, like, if she doesn't take Julia seriously, it's like you're gonna lose the precious. Like,
right. Lose the precious.
So I think it's like he's like warning her, like, don't be too cocky and overconfident, especially with her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's different.
She is different. All right. Well, I think that about does it for us.
Yeah.
Thank you all for tuning in. Everyone that commented and everything like that. Comment down below what you think. Who should should go over, Roxanne or Julia? If you put Julia, then I'm going to ban you. No, just kidding. But then thank you all for so much for joining us and commenting like that. As far as us, thank you all so much. We have hit a milestone. We are up to 100 subscribers now. So thank you all, everyone. For helping us getting. I mean, Justin, thank you. This has been such a fun journey ever since I said, "Hey, man, do you want to do a wrestling show?" You're like, "Yeah." I knew that was going to be a quick conversation, but here we are. I mean, pretty much just I don't know how many episodes we've done, but it's always been fun. But guess what? The show is growing just as much as the rest of the channel. In October, Bad Blood. Follow us, ring that bell, because me and Justin will be going live to live react to Bad Blood.
Yeah, we're gonna do our first ever watch along live. We're gonna watch the pay-per-view together, live reaction.
So, yeah.
Because this Bad Blood pay-per-view is looking stacked to the top to the bottom.
6 matches. Don't overdo yourself, Triple.
I know. It's like, oh wow, finally 5 more matches, more than 5 matches.
Gosh. Oh my gosh! It is a little early because of the UFC
stuff
going on at the same time.
The show is going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern time because of the UFC pay-per-view later in that Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So they want WWE to get Bad Blood done before 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time.
Right. With that, and also too, just follow us over on Discord. The link is down below. We're over there, talk about anything you want to talk about. And we have a good time over there. So be sure to click the link and join us over there. Also, if you want to do any type of production or anything like that, that you have an idea for a show that you want to do, we will be glad to help you out and join on this journey that we're on. The rocket ship that is going into the stratosphere and past the Milky Way. And we want you all to be a part of it, which join us over there at patreon.com/RuckusTV. To join us there, you can follow us on all the socials as well with the links down below. And we also have the other shows, just not Ruckus. We also do our fantasy F around on Mondays with me and Tushka, as we kind of sweat out that second half of the Monday Night Football game as we go live at 9 o'clock, right around there, Central, at 8 o'clock Eastern. And then I have the Game Dudes every Tuesday as we're playing Divinity Original Sin Part 2. So yes, the good game before Baldur's Gate 3. Is basically what we're playing now, but we're going through that journey. So join us over there as we bicker like 12-year-olds on what decisions we should make. And then you should also the next day for the Ruckus wrap it up for the sports world to go over everything else in the sports world. We will talk over college football, go over the NFL storylines, not just the individual players. Baseball, we're getting ready. And I know Justin is happy about it. We're getting ready for playoff baseball. And there's just nothing like playoff baseball, especially with Justin's Yankees doing pretty well.
Yankees are in the playoffs.
So
last night. So
yep. And the Tigers might be threatening to take the KC Royals spot there with what they're doing with that. But so keep up with that. And then obviously every Thursday here at 9 Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, as Justin and I go over things that was, is, and will be in the world of wrestling. So on behalf of me and Justin, Justin, as always, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
We will see you all next time.